Sean Hannity pulled a classic Sean Hannity last night and invited on a Democrat to badger her and also to defend Darren Wilson, the cop who killed Mike Brown. Let's listen.
Committeewoman, were you there at the shooting?
Was I there at the shooting? I was not present for the shooting.
You're not there. So you don't know if this case is about police brutality, do you?
No, I do know that this case is about police brutality.
You do?
We're looking at a case that's yes, I do.
You do?
We're talking about excessive force here.
So you don't believe?
No
wait,
way
you don't believe
that
it?
Let me finish. There is no way that a young man who is unarmed should have two shots in his head. That's a little excessive.
Let me educate you, committee woman.
Say police brutality.
Let me educate you about the legal system in America. You can try and talk over me, but let me tell you, our system of justice, a person is innocent until proven guilty, and there are eyewitness reports tonight that the officers suffered severe facial injuries, had an orbital eye socket fracture, and that Michael Brown charged at him. What if that turns out to be true? What if that turns out to be true?
Oh, I'm sorry. I believe you cut my mic off because I intended to challenge you.
I said, what if that turns out to be true?
I didn't hear what you were saying.
I said if the officer has severe facial injuries, an orbital eye socket fracture, and eyewitnesses say that Michael Brown charged at him, you weren't there. What if that turns out to be true in our court system? Then that would mean you're wrong, doesn't it?
Well, we have lots of eyewitnesses that are saying something different.
That's right.
So
we have both sides.
That's what the courts are for.
So you don't know, do you? You don't know what happened. You don't know if this is about police brutality, do you?
I do know.
So you don't believe in a person being innocent until they're proven guilty?
Throughout the country that have, I didn't say that he's guilty, but we do have issues of police brutality in our community.
But you don't know if there's police brutality in this case, do you?
You asked me that and I said yes.
You know for a fact?
How many times are you going to ask me the question?
Classic Hannity. Joe Rogan makes this point all the time. He says this is why he hates cable news. Because there's no actual discussion, there's no actual conversation going on, there's no exchange of ideas and learning and responding and having a real back and forth like human beings. It's yap, 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 yap. Sean Hannity's going to badger you and spew his talking points because he views his job as playing for Team Republican and Team White Person and Team Cops and Team Law and Order, right? In this respect, with Cliven Bundy, he wasn't in favor of Team Law and Order and be on the cop side. He was in favor of be on the outlaw side, right? But now it's, Team Republican, Team Darren Wilson, and I'm just going to badger you and shout you down, and all of a sudden he's fucking Socrates. Well, we don't know even though there's evidence, and we do know, but we don't know I know that I don't know. I'm like Socrates. Are you like Socrates? I didn't think so. Please, Sean, you're pathetic. He's the worst of all the propagandists because it's so obvious he's doing propaganda. Is that guy interested in the truth? No, he went into this saying, I'm going to be on the side of Darren Wilson. It's so clear, man. Now, look, put aside all of his mental mumbo-jumbo garbage trying to whitewash the situation. Let's focus on what we do know. Here's what we do know. Michael Brown is 18 years old and was unarmed. His hands were in the air, and he was shot 6+ times and killed. 2 of those shots were in the head. Also, we do know the cops initially reported that Michael Brown's body was about 30 to 35 feet from the police car where the shooting happened, okay? So that's what we do know. I believe the point that the Democratic politician is trying to make there is simply based on those facts, there is a problem here. This is not okay. This does not add up. One of the few things that every eyewitness admits to is his hands were in the air and he got shot and killed. Okay, on that alone, problem. But what's Sean Hannity doing? No, I don't care. I don't want to see it. I don't want to talk about it. The young black kid can never be right because that's the mindset and the narrative we've adopted here on Fox News. Okay, well then you're an idiot and we shouldn't even be having this conversation. And then the idea that, well, it's innocent until proven guilty. That's how the justice system works. Yeah, did you say the same thing when it was OJ's trial? I'm sure that as all the evidence came in, Sean Hannity was out there going, well, guys, let's be careful here. Whatever the justice system says is what we believe. Oh, so there's no court case that you've ever disagreed with the conclusion on, Sean Hannity? Is that what you're saying? And when OJ was found not guilty, you went out there and talked to your friends and said, look, I believe in the justice system. I think he's not guilty. No. You're making the argument when it's convenient for you. He did the same thing with the NSA, remember? This is why Sean Hannity is a joke. If you notice, I don't cover him as much as I cover O'Reilly and other people, right? Because Sean Hannity is so mind-numbingly stupid, it's mostly a waste of time to bring him up. I'm serious. Look at the NSA story, where when it was George Bush doing the exact same program spying on you, he said, Democrats are with the terrorists, Democrats don't want to keep you safe, Democrats are soft on terror. When it was President Obama doing the exact same program as George W. Bush, oh my God, he's violating our Fourth Amendment rights. This isn't allowed. This isn't fair. He's violating our privacy. This is fucked up. So it just, you can flip back and forth shamelessly. And the final thing I'll say here is the eye socket report, no evidence of it. You know who came up with that report? A right-wing blog. And then a lot of actual media outlets and news outlets had a good response to that, and they said, that's interesting, man. So you're saying he had these big-time injuries to his face. Why didn't the police mention that yet? They went out of their way to mention a robbery, which had nothing to do with the initial interaction between the cop and Mike Brown. The initial interaction, they admit, was because Mike Brown was walking in the street, and the cop said, get out of the street. So they went out of their way to try to slant the playing field against Michael Brown and in favor of their boy, right? But they just forgot to mention that he had a massive injury. Bullshit. And then also the idea, he charged at him. Totally made up. Virtually every eyewitness says his hands were in the air, okay? And then there's varying reports of whether he was 5 feet away or anywhere as far as 35 feet away, and the forensic evidence is questionable on that too. But I haven't heard anybody say he was charging at him, other than Brian Fisher. I'll be fair. Brian Fisher said he morphed into the Terminator. I'm not kidding. Took 4 bullets or 5 bullets and just kept running towards the police officer. Because he's a cyborg, in case you didn't know.